Senate when I came, and his leadership on nuclear has really inspired me to help advance this issue as well. Now, since Pete is gone from the Senate, he's certainly missed, I think it's important to remind you all that there are several who have stepped up to help fill the shoes of Pete Domenici. We've got a group of advocates in the Senate, and they're spread all across the nuclear spectrum, and collectively, we all will continue to push for this nuclear renaissance that Pete Domenici advanced. You heard from Senator Bennett earlier this morning, I understand. He's clearly taken that role on the Appropriations Committee, trying to expand the loan guarantee program in the stimulus funding bill and now through the appropriations process. Senator Sessions from Alabama, Senator Alexander from Tennessee, Senator Landrieu from Louisiana. They're heading up efforts to advance nuclear fuel reprocessing. You've got Senator McCain, Senator Voinovich, Senator Risch, leading voices on the storage of nuclear waste. I've been working with all of these issues and been trying to advance the nuclear workforce development, trying to include nuclear energy in the renewable electricity standard that Senator Bingaman is working to advance. I believe very strongly that nuclear energy remains strong. The commitment to it remains strong in the Senate on both sides of the aisle. I'm hopeful that this Congress will continue to move forward on the progress that we have achieved in the last two comprehensive energy bills. I think it is important to note that the members that I have named off here, most of them are Republican members. But I think as Senator Nelson has mentioned to you, there is a recognition. This is not a partisan issue, should not be a partisan issue. It should be a recognition that if you're going to have a comprehensive energy policy that works to provide for what this country needs and do so in a way that is clean and does not have issues with emissions, that nuclear is your best bet. Let's talk a little bit about what is going on within the Energy Committee. As you know, we have been working to advance a comprehensive energy bill. We've been working at this and having a series of markups. We had one yesterday. We'll have another one tomorrow. The chairman had hoped that we would advance a comprehensive energy bill through the committee prior to leaving for the Memorial Day recess. That's not going to happen. Our schedule has slipped somewhat, but it looks like it's now going to be sometime in mid-June. But in the nuclear area, some of the things that we have done to date, we've supported the development and expansion of our energy workforce, including those in the nuclear industry. We've doubled the authorized funding level for nuclear research and development in Title IX of the Energy Policy Act of 2005, and we've reformed the loan guarantee program through the Clean Energy Deployment Administration that will assist in the financing of new nuclear reactors. Now, I mentioned that we had a markup yesterday in energy. I tried at that time to build on the progress that we've made by bringing up an amendment that would have reaffirmed our commitment to supporting nuclear energy as a strategic asset, as well as the federal government's obligation to provide for the safe management of spent nuclear fuel. Included in my amendment was a provision that would have created a nuclear energy advisory council within DOE, as well as an interagency working group in the administration to work on nuclear issues. This aspect of the bill, Senator Bingaman was supportive of. It was the other portions that he had more difficulties with. These included elements of the SMART bill, to help the private industry with the costs of engineering and licensing commercial-scale processing facilities. It would have authorized the Secretary of Energy to negotiate temporary storage agreements with utilities to resolve the taxpayer liability under the Nuclear Waste Policy Act. But unfortunately, that amendment did not pass the committee yesterday. It failed on a tie vote We had one member absent. We did have the support of Senator Landrieu from Louisiana. I'm grateful for her foresight to understand that we really do need to advance our emission-free nuclear energy. I mean, she's coming from a oil and gas producing state like Alaska, but she clearly understands the role of nuclear in our energy policy basket. So we'll work as we move this bill forward to see if we can't insert some of these provisions at a later date. We are making progress, and nuclear is clearly moving forward in this country. I've had an opportunity to talk with some of you about the progress at individual sites, and the news is encouraging. But we are running into some issues, some headwinds with the administration. The administration has talked about the important role of nuclear energy in reducing the amount of greenhouse gases that we emit, but I have expressed some concerns that the actions coming out of the administration don't necessarily measure up to the statements that are being made. We've got a new chairman at the FERC, and he said that there may be no reason to build new nuclear plants. He's convinced that renewable energy can provide the baseload capacity to meet our growing power needs. And so you have to ask the question, is this statement inconsistent with the administration's position? And I would suggest perhaps not. I don't know. I've got young kids at home. Actually, they're not that young anymore, but about 10 years ago, there was a popular kids book out that was called Where's Waldo? It was this kind of wild collection of pictures, and you had to find this caricature of a little guy that had a red and white striped hat. And it was a great game for kids because it allowed them to kind of explore through the pages and find Waldo. Well, I would suggest that sometimes I think the administration is playing a game of Where's Waldo, only they're calling it Where's Nuclear. We will need to search carefully to find the resurgence of the nuclear industry in the administration's energy policies. And just think about some of the actions that we have seen of late. So far, the administration has sought to kill Yucca Mountain as a long-term repository for spent nuclear fuel. They have been hesitant to increase the loan guarantee program funding levels to support the construction of new nuclear plants. And they have focused on renewable and alternative fuel development to reduce our carbon emissions without any mention of nuclear energy. Now, I'm very supportive. I think that we need to do more to advance renewable and alternative fuel developments. We need to do more to enhance the jobs in these areas. But I think we need to recognize that when we're talking about ways to reduce carbon emissions in this country, you've got to include nuclear as part of that discussion. So where nuclear energy truly stands with the current administration, in my opinion, is a bit of a mystery. For 10 years now, we've heard consistently about the urgency of global climate change and the need to address it. Well, coming from Alaska, where we can see climate change, we can see the real-life effects of it. I agree that we need to do something to address it, but I do find it inconsistent that some of the same entities, some of the same people who press for immediate action in this country on climate change will deny nuclear a role in the solution. Now, as you know, there's been a great deal of activity, particularly on the House side in the past month, to advance climate change legislation. The administration has made climate change legislation a top priority. It's going to be interesting to see what actually comes out of the House side with the Waxman-Markey bill. House Democrats have so far been able to get away with only talking to themselves on the specifics of a cap and trade. In terms of Republican support, it's pretty skinny out there. It's unknown if they have the necessary 60 votes on the Senate side to pass such a bill. but regardless,